Hello, everybody. Once again, it's your show, the TNN podcast, and it's a privilege to welcome to the platform Rotarian Kunle Adeyanju. Many of you might not know him, many of you might know him. He's a Nigerian living in diaspora, currently in Lagos at the moment. After performing such a lovely feat, riding his motorbike from the UK, London to be precise, down to Lagos. It must have been a journey, but we'll get to that in a moment. The first thing we want to do is to allow Rotarian Kunle Adeyanju to introduce himself to you, give us a bit of his background from childhood up to when he moved to the UK, so a bit of his life experiences in Nigeria, and then his move to the UK. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. My name is Kunle Adeyanju. I'm an adventurer, I'm an author, I'm a motivational speaker, and I'm also an entrepreneur. In my childhood days, I was born in Kano, that's Kano in Nigeria, and I did my primary, my nursery, primary, secondary school in that part of the country, then went to ABU Zaria, graduated from ABU Zaria, then took up a job with British American Tobacco, then from there to Oando Gas and Power, then to Shell Petroleum Development Company. And all along, I'm partly based in Nigeria, I'm partly based abroad because my family lives abroad with my children. And so I shuttle here and there. So technically speaking, over the last 28 years, right, I do average of like 5 months abroad and 7 months in Nigeria. So it's been, like 60-40. That's how I live my life up to now. So I work for myself now. I own a company called Pelican TNN, and we're into real estate.
Okay.
Sorry, did you get me? Okay, yeah, we're into real estate, and I run the company in Nigeria. Then, so that keeps me also part of what keeps me in Nigeria, and also in the UK, the family is there. And when I'm actually abroad, I run a publishing company too abroad. I run Pelican Publisher, where we publish book on Amazon, on Apple, on Google Books, and publish and market those books on those platforms.
Wow.
So technically speaking, that's what I do. And like you said, I just completed a London-Lagos bike ride.
Yes, absolutely. We'll get to that in a moment. But we want to get a bit of your life experiences growing up in Nigeria, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, like Kano. Do you speak Hausa? What was it like interacting with the people in Kano, which is the northern part of Nigeria? Did you feel any discrimination? Did you feel being out of place and so on?
Well, growing up in the north as a child was actually very interesting. Those years back before all this insurgency and all this militancy started happening in the northern Nigeria in recent years, the north has usually been a very peaceful place, a very peaceful and loving place. And I've had a very experienced time in Kano. Yes, I speak Hausa quite well, pretty well. And I must say my years as childhood years was quite a memorable one in Kano. I enjoyed it. A number of my best friends, not most, but a number of my best friends are actually people from the north, people I grew up with when I was young. So it was an exciting time, but it's just sad that in recent years, we seem to lost it, and insecurity took over everything. And North that used to be like a peaceful and exciting place is being turned into something else. It's a sad occurrence that we are seeing in recent years.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's such a pity at the moment, but we believe that everything can be turned round.
Very true.
You've been on Mount Kilimanjaro, not once, Twice, I believe.
Twice.
Not a
Correct.
lot of people know that. So I want to ask, I know you said you were an adventurer. What created that spark in you to become an adventurer? Why did you decide Mount Kilimanjaro? You know, tell us a bit about the origins of that passion.
Well, you see, I'm only living the passion that God put into every one of us. First,
Hmm.
I believe God created this earth and He created me. Some people don't believe that. It's okay, whatever they believe, that's their choice. But for me, I believe God created this heaven and earth and He created we human beings. And when He created us as natural adventurers. Because if you flash back when we were all kids, what do? We're always breaking our toys, always trying to find out how it works. Those are those curiosity spirit we all had as child in this. Those are adventurous spirits. If you look at, we like going up and down, exploring places, playing hide and seek, looking for things to just toy with. Those are adventurous spirits. But as people grow up in life, something happens to them, and that's something we call life. They got bosses in the office. They got demands from the society. They got pressure from work, from home, or from, and people lost those adventurous spirits, and they get resigned to, just living, just existing. But if you look at, there's the guy called Neil deGrasse Tyson. He said, "Who is a scientist? A scientist is an adult that never lost his childhood curiosity."
Hmm.
So that is how they're able to discover things. That is how they're able to invent things that the technology you and I will enjoy using to talk 5,000 kilometers apart was invented by someone who never lost his childhood curiosity. Who never lost his childhood curiosity. That's what it is. So the adventurous spirit has always been there. Right. The only thing is, I never allowed it to die. Why most people allow theirs to die? But I didn't. The question is, why didn't I allow it to die? And it's just because of my exposure and what I believe. Because I believe there's so much diversity that God put into this world. He didn't just put it there. If you look at Nigeria, look at the Hausas, look at the Igbo, look at Yoruba, look at other ethnic groups we have. Over 250 ethnic groups in Nigeria. Look at the so much diversity. Why did God create so much diversity there? So that we can learn, we can explore. That is why He created that. So I'm only living that inborn adventurous spirit, curiosity. I only didn't allow it to die. That's the only thing. Everyone has it in us. We all have it. Most people allow theirs to die because of life issues. But some people choose not to allow theirs to die. So the only thing, I didn't just allow, among those few people, then allow their curiosity to die.
Tell us a bit about the experience of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, the exhilaration of getting to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. That's the highest mountain in Africa, I believe. What's it like up there?
Correct.
What's the air like? How did you breathe?
You
What
see,
equipment did you take? What preparation did you make?
climbing Kili for me was a life-changing experience. It humbles you. You
Hmm.
rediscover yourself. I climbed it twice. And the question a lot of people tend to ask me, why would you climb the same mountain twice? And I said to them that, when I did the first climb, by the time I got to the peak, I realized that there are still a lot of learnings I missed on the way that I went back to experience it the second time. And if you ask me, do I still want to climb it the third time? The answer is yes. So climbing Kili, it's tough, it's difficult, it's dangerous because there are two major sicknesses rather, that happens to people that climb the mountain. They call it one the pulmonary edema, and the other one is the cerebral edema. The pulmonary edema is when the lungs, because of the high altitude and low oxygen concentration there, and the low moisture in the atmosphere, the low humidity rather, the lung absorbs water into it, and it's like that person is drowning in their own with the fluid inside their lungs. So you can't breathe, you are panting.
Okay.
And it's so difficult that when people get into that stage, they have that pulmonary edema. is either that person gets medevac down below 3,000 meters above sea level, and the body automatically gets to start recovering, or it leads to death. Those are one of the major killer or killing. The second one is the cerebral edema. The cerebral edema is the brain absorbs the fluid and the brain swells up. And you see people that you have been together on the mountain for the last 3 days or 4 days, and the person start telling you that, oh, I slept with I was in my grandmother's house yesterday, and like the person was started running mad. Okay. And those kind of things leads to death. So those two sicknesses are very, very common killer on killing. And you see that the guides, because you have like 2 guides to you that helps you to climb. And what they are constantly doing is monitoring you to make sure that there's no sign of cerebral edema or pulmonary edema. Once they sense a sign of that, instantly they medevac you down below 3,000 meters where the body starts its natural recovery processes. But if they leave the person there, death is just around the corner. Now, it takes you 7 days to climb Kili, 5 days for ascent and 2 days for descent. The last day of climbing the Kili, the 5th day, is most difficult. Because on that day, averagely on other days, you hike for like about 10 to 12 hours every day.
Wow.
But on the last day, you are going to be hiking for 18 to 20 hours that day. You only have like 4 hours rest.
Wow.
Because you have to summit the mountain in the night. You start around 11 p.m. in the night, so that you get to the summit of the mountain around 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning. Then you can, take your pictures, do like 30 minutes rest, watch the sun rising of the sun. Then you have to descend back quickly below the cloud before the sun comes up because of the ultraviolet lights. Because there you are above the cloud and you are exposed to the ultraviolet light. And that ultraviolet light causes skin cancer. And it also causes permanent blindness, because the ultraviolet light, the light hits the ice. There is ice at the top of at the summit of the Kili. So once the light hits the the ice reflects the light rays back into the retina. And it burns the retina. So there you see that you can't take off your glasses. You have to take your eye protective goggles on all the time when you are there. So, and even with that, you have to quickly descend back before the full rising of the sun. So, because you have to do it in the night, and can imagine you're already hiking all through the morning, just 4 hours rest, then you are doing the last one from midnight. So, you are sleep deprived, you are tired, you are hungry, you are thirsty, and you are also going through an environment which is very low in oxygen concentration. So it's really, really difficult. A lot of people, actually, if you look at statistics of people, they'll tell you 60% of people who collapse, who don't make Kili, give up on the last day of the summit. That's right. The last camp before the summit is called Kibo. 60% of people who fail Kili give up at Kibo. Because that is actually where the most test to people happens. But if you make it to the peak and you get to the summit, it's the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. Like I tell people, when you get there, you will see God. That's the summary that I put. Because of the high level of purity you will see. It's not white. What you're seeing is not white. It's something, purer than white. So the only word I could call it was purity. I mean, it's purity. You will see high level of purity and you will see God. And it humbles you. It helps you to realize that everywhere you are in life is just by grace. And you are this insignificant speck in this giant equation called life. So that experience humbles you. And that's one key thing I took away from Kili.
That's brilliant. Audience, you heard it. In a space of 5 minutes, Kilimanjaro has been described. The climb, the reasons people don't make it, the reasons people make it, the exhilaration when you get to the top, thinking about God and purity. It must be a beautiful experience. So I'm going to digress again, Rotarian Kunle.
Yes.
Education in Nigeria. How was it for you? What did you experience? Free education? Did you have to pay for your schooling? What is the difference between when you had education and what you see now?
Well, my education wasn't free. It was paid all through there. But there was still patriotism from my lecturers. There's still a sense of national pride. It is so sad the way things are done now that people don't care. I'm not saying the lecturer should not demand for better pay. It's okay to demand for it, but I don't see any element of patriotism. And you hear the lecturer saying things like, if the ministers are getting this sort of money, if the politicians are getting this sum of money, why shouldn't we get ours? And when people say that, it becomes like a cannibalistic way of thinking. Because this person is getting his own, I too should get mine. But when the two elephants are fighting, the grass suffers.
Hmm.
And who are the grasses? The student and the educational system in Nigeria being destroyed. Now tell me, who in this world will want to send his children to Nigeria to come to school? When I was at university in Nigeria, we had foreign students who are from several other countries who are in my class. But now, how many do you see? Because people, the lecturers, that cannibalistic way of thinking is, oh, they are getting theirs, we too should get ours. But yes, while we know that things are not so right with the way government is handling it, but does that mean that everyone should now say, okay, if it's not right, then let's destroy the whole house?
Hmm.
For me, there should still be some sense of national pride. There should still be some consideration. Some students who are registered for 5 years courses, they are spending like 6, 7 years to graduate, maybe even more.
Hmm.
Now look at the psyche of this student. And even if you look at the quality of graduate being produced, it's a shame because sometimes I've sat in some interview sessions where we are trying to recruit people, even in my previous job and even presently now. Sometimes you're amazed with the quality of the graduate and you wonder, did you really go to school?
Hmm.
So things has really gone down. And I think it's gotten to the peak where it has to bounce up. It can't go further than this. It shouldn't go further. It shouldn't go worse than this. It has to bounce up because the children who are going to be the futures of tomorrow, the future leaders, if they are not equipped to lead, if they are not equipped with the right, education, knowledge, wisdom, to lead, how do we expect things will go better?
You are right. You're
So that is the
absolutely
that
right.
is the challenging part in the educational system in Nigeria. It is sad. It is very, very sad.
I like what you said. It can't go lower. It should be a reverse now where it starts to ascend again. That's absolutely correct. When we formed the new Nigerian platform, part of the reasons we formed it was to gain this kind of value in conversation, bridge the gap between diaspora and Nigeria. So hopefully do what we used to call or what we call the reverse brain drain, where we have the intellects that have exited Nigeria, repatriating that intellect back to Nigeria, both in the fields of education, agriculture, health, you name it, technology. It's starting to turn gradually. We can see that, and we hope it keeps turning. Let's go down now to your journey on your motorbike from London to Lagos. When did you decide that you were going to do this? What was your preparation like? And when you set out, what obstacles what obstacles did you kind of, what's the word for it now? Rotarian Kunle, did
What did
you,
I face?
yes,
What
what
did I
obstacles
encounter?
did you face? Did you encounter? How did you overcome it? We started to follow you, I think, when you got to Morocco. That's when the new Nigeria started to follow you. So let us know a bit of the preparation. What was the spark for deciding to do it? How many people have done it? And like I said, what obstacles did you encounter? And what was it like getting to Lagos?
Well, thank you. You see, the ride actually, the idea was batted in 2019.
Okay.
And in 2019, I think I came to Nigeria then. A friend, I came in from the UK then to Nigeria. Then a friend told me that, oh, that have I considered, okay, well, I do a lot of all this diehard adventure. And the friend told me, have you considered riding bicycle from, we were just talking. And he said, hey, I think it's even possible. Somebody can ride a bicycle from Lagos to London. I mean, sorry, from Lagos to Ghana, sorry. And I said, yeah, why don't we do it? I mean, why just think about it? Why don't we do it? Yeah, let's ride a bicycle from Lagos to Ghana and back. We can do it. And I checked the map. I said, okay, we're going to be crossing 3 countries on the way. That's Lagos to Benin, that's Benin Republic, that's Cotonou, then to Lomé, then to Accra. I said, yeah, we should be able to do it in 3 days. Why don't we do it? Then my friend said, no, he's not interested. He can't do that. And I said, okay, I'm going to give it a try. Then I said, okay, maybe this will break me. Then I went on, then I tried it. Then I rode bicycle from Lagos to Ghana and got there
Wow.
in 3 days. It was tough, but I got there. Then it took me 3 days coming back again, and I did it. Then when I did that, it was good because it stretched my limits. It stretched. I thought I was gonna break me, but it really stretched my limits. Sort of like raise the bar. And I said to myself that 2019 when I finished that, okay, what other thing again can I do that is tougher than this that will raise the bar for the higher? And I said, okay, why don't you ride a motorbike from London to Lagos? And I said, yes, a
Yes.
good idea. Then he entered my plan. Then he entered my bucket list in 2019. Then in 2021, I decided to say, okay, yes, I'm ready to do it now. Then I started planning. I started the plan. And the plan took me 1 year to build the plan. And why did the plan take so much? Because, first, the bike selection. I need to choose the kind of bike to use. There are 1,001 bikes around. But why did I choose the particular model? On the if you're traveling to Europe, up to from London to Spain, you get services at probably every 20 miles or 20 kilometers around, so which is okay. But when you move into Morocco, yes, through Casablanca, Morocco from Tangier to Marrakesh, maybe every 30 or 40 kilometers you get, that's fine. But once you leave there, you're heading into the Sahara. Everything is scarce. Water is scarce, food is scarce, fuel is scarce, everything is scarce. So now, for me to go through where there is scarcity, then the only thing I need more is efficiency. I need a bike that is very efficient that will carry me through. I'll give you an example. My bike has a tank capacity of 17 liters, right?
Okay.
And that gives me a range of 500 kilometers.
Okay.
There is another bike that has a tank capacity of 30 liters, and it gives a range of 400 kilometers. So you can see the sharp variance. So selecting efficiency is key. Then, okay, and I have to look at it. How available is, where is the route? Okay, now first, I said, okay, 500 kilometers on the Sahara, it's not going to work after checking the map. I need to be able to do at least minimum 600 kilos so that I can get into places where I can get life support services. So I got a jerry can, a 5 liter jerry can attached to the back. So when I fill the two, I have 22 liters, which gives me a range of 625 kilometers. So now I took that 625 kilometers, I plugged it on the map, and I make sure that from my takeoff point to my end point for that day, it lands me, that 625 lands me in a place where there is a village, or there is a city, or there is a hamlet, or there is a town where I can get those life support services like water, food, fuel for the bike, and a hotel to stay. So that was how the planning process went through. And again, if you look at it, my bike weighs 190 kilos. This other bike I was telling you weighs 269 kilos. Now imagine when you're riding on the Sahara, because you go on desert sand, and when you go on sand, the probability for falling is high. Actually, falling is part of riding. Now, if I fall down on the Sahara with my leg under the bike, how can I possibly lift up 269 kilos? But I can cope with 190. It's tough, but I can cope, which copes better than 269 kilos. So those are the challenges that went into the plan. Then the other one again is you need to build what I call the point of interest, my point of interest. On the map, I had to put in like about 6,000 points of interest. And what are these points of interest? It's like the police formation, the hospital locations, the emergency response services along the way. So imagine if you're coming in from like London now, or let's say you're going in from Calais in France and you're exiting from Bordeaux or Montpellier in France. Now imagine the first part in Calais, all the police station, all the hospital in Calais, you get their location on the map, their coordinate, GPS coordinate, their telephone numbers. Okay, the hospital, the emergency services. Then you move to the next town. Then at least between Calais and Bordeaux, you have like about maybe 12 or 14 different towns. Imagine getting the contact of all those. Then move it down until you exit France. Maybe you're gonna have like about, say, maybe 50 or 100 points of interest. Now, you don't go online alone to say, oh, I've gotten the number online there. I have to place call to make sure these numbers are existing, because sometimes some of those numbers are there and they don't work. And I have to speak to them. Okay, if I have a crisis, what do I need to do? How can I call for emergency services? So imagine building all these points of interest for all the countries I passed through and testing those points of interest to make sure they work. Now, again, if you look at the route selection, if I had gone through Libya, straight into Niger Republic, then into Nigeria, it's going to be about 8,000 kilometers. But I didn't choose that route. I had to go through the coastline, which was 12,000 kilometers. So the question is, why would you want to do 4,000 kilometers more? Because the point is, if you go through Libya, okay, there are points where you're going to travel 1,800 kilometers before you see any town or any village where you can get in and those life support services. Now, where do you get a bike that can give you a range of 1,800? You don't get it. So if you go, there's an accident waiting to happen. But because of the coasts, there are more settlements on the coast than in the middle of the desert where there are no settlements. So those are those things that inform the choice. Those are all that went into the planning process. So it took me a year to actually build the plan. Then I did the ride. The ride was very exciting. I did 3,100 kilometers from London to Algeciras, that's the boundary of Europe in Spain. Then I crossed into Tangier in Morocco, and I did about 9,000 kilometers from Tangier down to Lagos, Nigeria.
Go on.
And I bet you the 9,000 kilometers I did in Africa was the best 9,000 kilometers of my life. Because going through that 9,000 kilometers in Africa, it took me not only through the cities, but through the towns, the villages, the hamlets, the lonely and isolated places. It took me through the nooks and crannies of the African, the North and West Africa. And you know one thing I discovered? I discovered the true African story. I discovered that I experienced the hospitality of the African people, their generosity, their warmth, their kindness, and the diversity of the continent. I discovered that. You see, before embarking on the ride, I told you it took me a year to build the plan. Yes. I read everything. I read every available information I could get on all the countries I was going to pass through. All the CIA fact book, all the SIS, all those information, I read them so that I can just be aware of the country I was going to be riding through. And you know, everything I read about those countries painted them as red. Like, don't go there, they are dangerous. You know, it's not what, I mean, you could die if you go there.
That was what I was going to ask. Yeah, that was what I was going to ask. How did you encounter all those threats? But you're talking about it. Go on, please.
Yeah. So it was scary reading those things about those countries. In fact, I'll give you an example. It's either all the countries, in fact, all of them are red, with the exception of very few, like Senegal, that was amber. Amber is exercise great caution. Don't go there except you must have to go to. There is something critical, life and death, that you have to go. But red is don't even think about it at all. If you go there, you may not come out alive. You know that everything I read was so scary about this thing. But I still went on. I decided to say, no, I'm going to go through this place. Actually, there's this country, Burkina Faso. I took out Burkina Faso from my route completely because it was deep red. It was deep, deep red. Everything about that I wrote about it was scary. So I took out Burkina Faso. But I had to go through into Burkina Faso because at first I was denied entry into Cote d'Ivoire. So when I was denied entry, I ingressed Burkina Faso, then later went through Burkina Faso when the entry issue was sorted. Because the border was closed, so when the ambassador were able to, and the Ministry of External Affairs were able to get me the laissez-passer, then I went into Cote d'Ivoire. Now, the point is, what did I discover in all these places they said they are scary? I'll give you an example. I lost my rear tire in Mali. And when I lost it, it was about 9 p.m. in the night. And where I lost the rear tire, there is a park, a game reserve, where you have lions, hyena, and cheetah. So
Wow.
when that happened, it was a troubling moment for me because it was a matter of every second's count. It was a matter of life and death. And in the night, the animal have night vision. You don't see them, but they see you. By the time you see them, it's too late. So the first thing I did was to jump off the bike and climb a tree. Then when I got onto the tree, I saw a ray of light like about 400 meters away. Then after making sure there was no animal around on that tree, I jumped down and I ran the way I never did to the village. It was a small hamlet of just 3 houses. I got there. At first they were startled, but when they saw the way I was dressed, my helmet and everything, the people they said that are dangerous, they will kill you. They don't go there. All those negative words. These are the same people that the women of the villages went. They brought a chair for me to sit down. They brought water for me to drink. They gave me water to wash my face. I wanted to talk. They said, no, don't talk. Calm down first. Get your breathing back to normal. When my breathing was back to normal, I explained everything to her. I couldn't speak their language because I don't speak French and they don't speak their local dialect. So I use sign language. They have a bike in that town. I used the bike to explain what happened to me. Then the men of the villages, 4 of them gathered themselves together. They carried their cutlasses and their clubs, their sticks. And I asked them, why are you carrying cutlasses and clubs? And they told me in sign language that what if a lion comes? How would they defend themselves? So they followed me to where the bike was. We recovered the bike to their village. On the way when we were coming, I got GSM network. I called my interpreter that I left 30 kilometers back to bring a car, to charter a car and come and rescue me from that village. Now, it took almost 3 hours for my interpreter to come with the car. So I was with these people from 9 p.m. till 1 a.m. in the morning. The people stood with me there. They didn't go inside their house to sleep. They were with me. The women of the villages told me they wanted to go and make food for me to eat. I was the one telling them that I wasn't hungry. But they stood with me. They didn't make me feel alone until my interpreter came with the vehicle and they rescued me to the town where I slept, Kai. The following morning, we came back with a truck to recover my bike there. Everything I left on the bike was there. The people did not take one pin from it. Tell me, that is humanity.
That is humanity.
That is humanity. And these are people, they said, they are evil, they are bad, they will kill you, don't go there. So
African humanity.
I'm telling you, when I started discovering this true story of the African people, I was so shocked that this is not what I read. And also, when I told you I didn't plan to go into Burkina Faso, but because I was denied entry, I went into Burkina Faso. Now, when I got into Burkina Faso, tell me what I saw. On the way, I would see innocent farmers going about their job honestly. You see them waving me off on the way, waving their hand, telling me bye-bye. On the road, I will see women, enterprising women selling fruit by the roadside. They will flag me down and say, please, can we take pictures with you? I'll take pictures with them. When I'm leaving, they'll give me 2 mangoes from their stock that I should take. Tell me, that is African generosity.
Yes.
So this is all I experienced all along the way, which is totally different from what everybody was writing about Africa. And I realized that everything I read about Africa, all these African countries, it's not true. It's not true. So, and that made me to actually do a lengthy piece, which I call Think Africa, which is to say all these things being written about Africa, it's not correct.
We must reconstruct.
We have to change the narrative. Because
Change
if
the
you look at what do
narrative.
they use? What do they use to describe us in Africa? It's either they talk about safari, or they talk about animal, or the jungle. But the story, the generosity of the African people, right? The hospitality, the friendliness, the warmth, the diversity. Nobody talks about that. So we Africans, we need to tell our story. Because the story of the African people, the interaction of the people, is much richer than the story of safari, animal, or jungle.
You
That
you
is
you
that is my discovery of the African people.
you
For me,
have a
that's the
book.
most
You have a book about this coming out, don't you? Tell
correct.
us
Yes,
a
I
bit
do.
about the book, please. Let the audience know.
Actually, it is these discoveries along the
Yes,
way that actually spurred me that I have to tell this story. If I don't tell this story, I'm doing a disservice to all the good people that helped me along the way. All the good
yes.
African people that showed me generosity, kindness. They rescued me, they saved me. These are people who didn't make me feel alone. If I don't tell their story to the world and let them know that this is a land of diversity, a land of hospitality, friendly people, warm, a land where people are hospitable, people come out to help you, even people who don't know you.
Hmm.
I need to tell this story because what they did to me was not what I expected. I stand here today alive because those people helped me.
Yes, so the title of the book for the audience, you must go and get this book, is London to Lagos, The Journey of a Lion Heart. It's by Rotarian Kunle Adeyanju, and you can get it, I believe, from Amazon. You can get it from what
Apple,
other platforms?
from Apple Books and Google Books. The book will be out in the next 2.5 months. We're going to be releasing it to the public in 2.5 months. It's going to be available on Apple, on Google Books, on Amazon, Amazon.com. So it's going to be on all the major bookstores around the world online. And after that, we're going to move into the physical hard copy. But I encourage everyone to please go look at this book when we release it on these three major platforms. It's available to everyone around the world. And I tell you, the story you will find there, you will be wowed by the experience of this ride and the discovery of the African people, the generosity, the kindness, the friendliness of the people, the true African story. You will see it there. Because what I discovered is all the Western media has made us to become fearful of ourselves.
Hmm.
That was
Hmm.
what happened. When I read all those negative things, I became afraid of all those African countries. But when I got there, I realized all what I read were not true. So imagine if I didn't go there and I read all those things, I would still hold that fear against those people that they are not what it is. So we need to change the narrative. We are friendly people in Africa. We are loving people. We care about the value of human life in Africa.
Hmm. So finally, you went through all of this. You went through the routes, then you got to the Seme border, I believe, and you finally arrived in Lagos. What has the experience been since you arrived in Lagos? What was the feeling when you got to Lagos, knowing that you had achieved that aim of riding this bike, proving people wrong, achieving that self-determination? How has it been since you arrived? Tell us a bit about that, please.
Let me start this way. When I got to Ghana,
Yeah.
actually, when I got to Cote d'Ivoire, leaving Cote d'Ivoire for Ghana, and I entered Ghana, then automatically I knew within me that, oh, then the trip is completed. That yes, you have done it. Then from Ghana, I started rehearsing what I was going to do the first time I stepped onto the soil of Nigeria. I
Yes.
rehearsed it in my brain in Ghana. When I got to Lome, I rehearsed it. When I got to Cotonou, the hotel, when I was leaving Cotonou that morning to go to Lagos on Sunday, the 29th of May, I rehearsed what I was going to do when I stepped into the boundary, the soil of Nigeria.
Yes.
But guess what?
Tell
When I
us.
got to Semebode, about to cross into the soil or the boundary of Nigeria to step on the Nigerian soil, and I saw the crowd of people who were there,
Oh, wow.
I forgot everything I rehearsed.
Hmm. Hmm. There
I
were
was
people
wowed by
waiting.
the perception. It was like half of Lagos was at Semeboda.
Oh,
Bikers came all the way from Kano, from
oh,
Jos, Kaduna, Abuja to welcome me.
oh, what a fantastic
When
feeling.
I saw the love, and the reception from everyone in Lagos, everything I has planned that I was going to do, what I was going to say, how I was going to walk into the Nigerian soil, I forgot everything.
Oh,
I only remembered when I got to Ikeja. So it is to show that the amount of love that I received from people was mind-blowing. And since coming into Nigeria, it hasn't stopped till today. It's been everybody wanting to hear my story. As I'm talking to you, I probably will have done over 150 interviews since coming in.
wow.
I've been given traditional rulers. I've been given a traditional title by traditional ruler in my hometown. I've gotten an award from Lagos Country Club, Lagos Lawn Tennis Club. I've gotten an award from several Rotary clubs in Nigeria. I've gotten an award from other towns, Badagry and the hopes of other towns have given me an award. It just kept coming. And this show of love, like recognition for a big feat being done, was mind-blowing. If you ask me when I started, did I research this? The answer is no. Did I even think Bill Gates, somewhere far off, will come in to comment to say, whoa, this is a heroic thing? I never knew. Did I even expect that the CEO of Twitter will come to say, this is the most documented adventure ever in the history of social media? I never knew. But I was just doing my thing, living my life, believing in my dreams, and continuing to push in spite of all the odds, all the dangers, all the difficulties. And I'm happy the way it turned out. So, like my advice to all my brothers there in the diaspora and everywhere around the world who is listening, let's just continue to do that thing we believe in. How it's going to turn out, we don't know. But if you put in your very best and continue to do those things, the universe will cooperate with you. And the dimension it will take will wow you. It will surprise you. It may be difficult. It may be tough. The point is, never give up.
Never give up.
Just continue to do it.
Yeah, so Rotarian Adeyanju, you didn't just do this because you wanted to ride from London to Lagos. There's also a few reasons why you did it. Part of the reasons is the disease called polio. You are fighting for the eradication of polio across our continent or across the world. Can you give our audience a bit of information about that? And more importantly, can you give diaspora details of how to contribute to your worthy cause, where to contribute to, how to reach out to you and collaborate, because this is what we are all about at the New Nigeria.
Thank you. I did the right, to actually to draw attention and response for the disease, the virus, polio. Polio is a very, very bad thing. If it attacks a child right from the age of that tender age, it alters the life of the child permanently. The child, it limits the child's ability to live, his full life to full potential. I'll give you an example. Polio for me was a personal fight. Personal fight because growing up as a boy in primary school, my best friend had polio. The guy that sat next to me in primary school, he had polio. And all through our primary school and secondary school years, when we did all those things that kids normally do, he couldn't do it. Not because he didn't want to, but because he was limited by polio. And when we jump up and down, we ride bicycle, we play football, we swim, we do all those things. The guy just stayed by the sideline in pain. And this was the same pain the guy he went through all his life. Sadly, we lost the guy 2 years ago. And I know his life was painful because I know what it was. Because imagine adults still depending on people to take you to do the basic things you want to do. You want to go to the restroom, you want to go to do this, you can't do this, you still depend on people. It's humiliating. That is what this guy went through all his life. We lost him 2 years ago. I won't say polio killed him, no, but did the polio limited his ability to live a fulfilling and dignifying life you would have wanted to live? The answer is yes, because I was there and I saw it. And you know, at his burial, it was painful because I know this guy suffered and his family suffered. And I said to myself then, that was 2 years ago, if there's anything I can do to make sure another child doesn't go through this pain, I would do it. So when this ride came, that was actually why I used the ride to draw attention to the challenges of polio and also to raise funds. Now, what is this polio? Yes, people will say Nigeria was certified polio free about 3 years ago. Yes, it's okay, we were certified polio free. But if we do nothing, the disease is still very much with us. The virus is not manifesting because of the immunization we have given those children. If we stop the immunization, the new children coming out will become susceptible to the virus. And every good works, all the good works that people before me have done in the last 30 years, will go back to square one, will go down the drain, and we'll start facing that. So, because people heard that we become polio certified, polio free, people become complacent. We are not talking about polio anymore. Immunization is not going, the drive is not, the energy is not there the way it used to be. And it's an accident waiting to happen. Because, you know, like COVID, the virus moves everywhere. We still have manifestation of polio in Afghanistan, in Pakistan. And even recently, it came out in Malawi. And recently, again, very recent, about 3 weeks ago, it came out in Cote d'Ivoire. So you can begin to see that the virus is very much there, but because we are becoming complacent that we are polio free, you know, we don't drive the immunization the way we were driving it before, but it's resurging back. Now look at all the good works, all the huge resources spent going down the drain. So, like we say in Rotary, we are this close. We are in the last mile. And the last mile is the most difficult one because we can't afford to become complacent. So that is why I took up the challenge to further draw attention to this, that we have to end this virus. And we have the technology, we have the vaccine to do it. So why are we not doing it? Why are we not taking the virus out of the world so that children coming into the world have the potential to live their life to the fullest? Now, that is one part, is to draw attention to the incident, to wake us all up so we can have that renewed drive towards polio. The second part is we need to raise funds for the vaccine. Because yes, the vaccine is given free to the children, but somebody has to pay for the vaccine. It's like COVID. We all go to get our COVID vaccine for free, but somebody paid for them. So the funds we are raising is going to support, you know, paying for the vaccine and even mobilizing the volunteers that goes into the villages, their logistics to go and immunize these children. Because it's not only in cities that people need to be immunized, even in the innermost land, in the villages, the nook and cranny, they need to be immunized. And it takes a lot of resources. So that is where this is coming from. So people can join and support this initiative by using the GoFundMe. The GoFundMe is all the donation raised goes to Rotary International. So to make it easy to find the GoFundMe, please go on to GoFundMe and type David Adeyanju. It will link you. It will take you to the link where you can support the initiative. Every donation that goes there is being recognized, is being appreciated, and we get back to them, to people who donate it, you know. And all the donation you are putting in goes straight into the Rotary Foundation. None of it is coming to me. Everything goes straight to the Rotary Foundation. And the good part again is all the funds we are raising, I'm sure you know Bill Gates is the largest donor, financier for polio in the world. the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and it has a funding partnership which we call it the 2-to-1 matching grants, and that which says that for every $1 that I raise, Bill Gates will match it with $2.
Wow.
$1 will vaccinate 2 children. A vaccine costs 50 cents. So if I raise $1, Bill Gates will add another $2. That makes it $3. So that means my $1 that I raise can actually vaccinate 6 children. And Rotary vaccinates 500 million children every year. Now, look at the cost of vaccine. Look at the cost of logistics to move the vaccine around the world. And even when it gets to a country, to move it to all the states and all the villages, all the hamlets, because we need to get there. That's the only way to get polio out. So it takes a lot of resources. And so we need your help. Join hands with us. Let's take this disease, this virus out of our country, out of the world, so that our children they were bringing into this world can live their life to the fullest potential. So please support. No amount is too small. Please support.
Brilliant. The New Nigerian will set up a fund, and we will solicit from our patronage in diaspora, and all proceeds will be remitted to Rotarian David Adeyanju for forwarding. I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation. We've gone through your life experiences. We've gone through your motivations. We know the reason why you've done this. Apart from being a TED speaker, apart from having the heart to be able to help other people, especially the children and the youth who I believe own the world now, is there any advice, any particular initiative you would like for diaspora to collaborate with Nigeria, especially in the new dispensation we're going into? How do you think the Nigerian can maximize, apart from always asking for money, obviously, how can they maximize the relationship with us in diaspora to make an impact and to reverse all the trends which are currently negative?
Yeah, thank you for that. You see, that's a key one. For me, the most insignificant one is the money that we send home. Yes, it's important. But if you give a man a fish, he will be hungry again. But teach him how to fish. You have empowered him for the rest of his life. And the good thing, the big and mighty thing, the diaspora community we can take back to Nigeria is our skill. Let us see how we can go into partnership, even if it's for us to give talks, to give talks to people, children in their schools. Like yesterday, I addressed 2 university students. I was tired, but I decided to take it up because I believe that's my quota, to help change their orientation, to change their thinking, to make them realize that, look, you don't need to rush out there to make it in life. First, you need to reset your thinking. What are you doing with what you have in your hands? It's not just for you to be asking, give me this, brother in abroad, send me money, send me this. No, what are you doing with the potential, the opportunity you have around you? People in Nigeria are making it. Why are you not doing so? So we need to come back and let people realize that the grass is not always greener on the other side. In Europe and America, they see they don't use shovel to pack gold on the streets. It's not like that. People work hard for their money. So we need to educate, and basically what we can do is skill transfer. People who can create some businesses in Africa, please come and do. We need to create jobs to employ these children. And people who are gifted, wants to share their knowledge, their experience, please partner with clubs. Rotary Club is there. You can partner with Rotary Club. You can be speaker where you can share your experiences. There are schools which a lot of Rotary Club has adopted. Like my club, Rotary Club of Ikoyi Metro, We adopted 3 schools in Ikoyi, in Lagos. Well, not basically in Ikoyi, but around Lagos. And what do? We give talks to them, career talks. We expose these children. Then also there are things also, you don't just give the talk. Sometimes we provide needs, we meet their needs. And these are not very expensive, but these are ways to give back, to touch the lives of these children, to reorientate their brain. So I call on the TNN, please, you guys look into this. Come partner with Rotary Club. Rotary will be willing to partner with you so that we can begin to see how we can reorientate Nigeria, our children, the young children coming up. We can give back, we can change their thinking so that people can realize that, yes, you can become rich in life, but it won't happen in one day. I mean, you look at Aliko Dangote, probably took him 30 years or 40 years to get to where he is. But a lot of our youth, they want to become Aliko Dangote tomorrow. So by the time we need to come with this kind of approach, educating them, let them see the reality of life, we are beginning to change their orientation and the narrative of this youth. So this is an area where the diaspora community can come in. And this is something that is dear to me, which I've taken up. And there's still opportunity to do more because there are so many Rotary clubs everywhere in Nigeria. And there are so many schools willing to listen to people like you and I, that we can inspire them and make them believe in themselves that they can become successful in life.
Yeah, absolutely right, Rotarian. I'll tell you, after we formed the new Nigeria, and we're almost 2 years old now, we've come up with several schemes. So what we've done is seek the knowledge of people in diaspora and see how those people can transfer, like I said before, that experience and knowledge back home to Nigeria. I'm happy to tell you there are several schemes that are on ground at the moment. I'll give you a perfect example. A nice professor in Canada thought of a scheme called Nurse a School, Health for Nigeria. It is being done as we speak in places like Ekiti State or your state, where they put a nurse in each school in the rural areas. TNN itself has partnered with a school in Abuja called the Help Ministries International that take in orphans, that take in abused children, that take in homeless children and give them education. At the moment, we have just over 80 students in that school.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I please
Beautiful.
encourage you when you
Brilliant.
go to Abuja to visit the school to send direct eyes to our school. The reason being, it's not an easy venture for one person. And just like you said, everything we do has to be communal rather than in silos. That's the only way we can win. In terms of agriculture, we have the 1 acre scheme coming from an organization in Canada as well. TNN so far has organized about 3 or 4 Feed the Children campaign. In fact, the last one we did was in Easter. It was done in Isolo. Never been done before, according to the people in the area. They were so happy. The Iyaloja of the market had tears in her eyes. She said, normally, these things are done by being funded by the community or by the local government or by the state. She said, for an organization to come without asking for a penny and feed over 300 children is something to be commended. So this has given us even more incentive to do more. Our next target now is to feed 1,000 children. We hope to do this very shortly. It's been so successful that those communities we've helped now reach out to us when they need support, you know. So say for example, they have a marathon coming up in September or August, I believe. They've reached out to us to see what we can do. And the only thing we can do is to enable diasporans to support. We have children that are on our scholarship at the moment. You know, I just wanted to give you a brief background of what we are doing, where we aim to go eventually, you know.
Yeah.
And I just want, the 1 hour is gone. We don't want to keep you too long. It's been a long day. I just want you, based on your TED affiliations, to please give one last word or advice or wisdom to our youth, our children, and diaspora. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My last word for the children on this medium now, it's about the mindset of resiliency, having a resilient mindset. I've been opportune to travel the length and breadth of Nigeria over the course of my life. I've lived in different parts of Nigeria as a kid, as a boy growing up. And I've seen what Nigeria is now from what you see around. I tell you, our youths have lost the resilient spirits. Our youth want the quick fix, the quick win. But really, there's nothing like quick win in life or success in life. It takes time to build success. Success takes time. Magic is instant, but magic is a mirage. But success, going through it takes time. And success is hard work. Success is not by prayer or by fasting. It is by hard work. That is my belief. Because even I read in the Bible says, walk, then pray. It didn't say pray and walk. So our people needs to have that resilient spirit. Our youth doesn't need to spend the whole of their life praying for success that you have not worked for. It doesn't happen that way. Because that is what I see is the new how will I say colonization for our youths. I see a lot of our youth wasting away in places of worship. They spend the whole of their time praying and fasting. Now, when you spend the whole of your time praying and fasting in places of worship, when do you have the time to do the work? Is it God that will come down to do the work? So my advice to youth is, I'm not saying people shouldn't go to pray, they shouldn't fast. I pray, I fast, but we need to do the work because nobody will do the work for us. And when we do the work, we should know that it's not going to be instant. It takes time to grow to make success. An example, just a short story. If you want to make bread, you take the flour, you mix it with water, you mix it with butter, you mix everything together, it becomes a dough. But the dough is not edible. You can't eat the dough. You need to pass it through the fire. It's after you pass it through the fire that it becomes a bread that is edible. The fire doesn't add anything to the taste. But without the fire, it can become a bread. So to get success in life, you need to go through that pain. You need to, because that pain is what will prepare you for the success. So when the pain is coming, think about the dough trying to become a bread. If the dough quits, refuses to take the heat, it will not become a bread. So our youth should think about that. It takes resilient spirit to be successful. And I implore everyone to develop that spirit. We all have the ability to develop it. That is my candid advice to our youth in Nigeria.
Thank you so much. We've spent 1 hour and a few minutes. We're really grateful for your time. It takes a lot for someone who, a person of your substance and caliber, to create time to speak with the new Nigerian. We're really grateful. Audience, you've listened to Rotarian Kunle Adeyanju. You've heard some of his life story. There's still more to hear. There's still a lot he has to say, but we have to let him go. We hope that you enjoyed the session and you've gained value I have gained value from our conversation. You've heard about what we need to do for polio. You know where to go to help in funding the eradication of polio in Africa. You've heard Kunle's story, and we just want to say we are grateful for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank
Um,
you.
when this is out in the ethos, like I said before, we're going to possibly advertise your book as well on the TNN platform so that we can drive more funds to the best of our ability towards the eradication of polio. We will let you go now, but what we normally do, I will stop the recording and then we can have a quick tete-a-tete before you go, okay? Thank
All
you
right.
so much. I'm very
Thank you.
grateful.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent.